Do you ever have those days where you just trade like trash the entire time, but you still end up green somehow? That was pretty much today, and I'm not really happy with it, but overall I still ended up with about a $300 win on one of my PA accounts for Apex. Made about $320 today off of a couple of trades. And then I made an additional $55 on another paid account today. So again, just under $400 for the day. And I just still feel like I traded like crap, like absolute trash. And I wanted to go over that. I want to specifically go over a couple of trades in the beginning of the day that were higher quality, I guess, and then how I deteriorated over the rest of the trading day. And I probably should have just called it quits after 12, but really my plan for today was based off of the structure for yesterday. So this is the 15-minute time frame, and this is Friday, and we had a pretty huge bullish move all day. And we didn't really do much. We didn't really drop a lot in the overnight session here. And so what I was thinking is like, there really was no pullback at the end of the day on Friday. So my initial thought off of the open was that a lot of those people that were long going into Friday or had opened up maybe some weekly options contracts or weekly futures contracts, my original thought was, I think they're going to liquidate, they're going to sell first thing in the morning. And I was right in that aspect. But then I wasn't sure what was going to happen after the initial sell, if it was going to keep dumping or not. Again, I like to keep my days pretty fluid, and I just go with the market no matter which way it goes. So my first trade actually happened after we started to kind of put in a little bit of kind of like a reverse head and shoulders. I had this one or the inverse head and shoulders. I had this one as a shoulder, this is the head, and this is the shoulder. That was what I was really watching. I was also watching ES and a couple of other variations, but we had this nice wick right here, which indicated like, maybe there were some buyers present. Had a buying pressure on this pullback here. I was interested, but I entered really late. That could have been a better entry on this one. A couple of things that I had written down on this, a couple of my thought processes. I exited early because it was still a little too slow. So I exited right about here at like 1500. And if you look in this area where I was exiting, there were heavy wicks and we didn't have a ton of volatility. Unfortunately, like 3 minutes later, we got the volatility that pushed us through this overnight high. So I was a little disappointed and really just kind of lack of confidence in my plan. Really after that initial dump and kind of after this support, I figured we weren't going to be going down the rest of the day because my thought process on my thought process on the higher time frame was that we don't really have a lot of sell side liquidity to be going over here. So we really the closest sell side liquidity that we had was this overnight low, which we did grab off of the initial sell off of the open. So my thought process is, okay, what's the next big significant liquidity pool that we're going to be chasing after? And my original thought was actually the liquidity at yesterday's high of day. I figured there would be a significant amount of liquidity up here just because there was really no selling. And maybe there were some people stops up here. And so my thought process is like, we're going to 15,600, which is up here near high of day. So the rest of the morning, with that in mind, what I was thinking is like, I'm thinking we're going to 15,600. And I was kind of right. We didn't make it there, unfortunately, but my trades, I had this kind of like intraday bias where I knew we were going to have some buying pressure after this initial support here at like 15,475. And so I took a couple of trades here. This first one, again, I put this little note that says stop exiting early. That would be a great thing if I actually started listening to myself. I wanted to see how it was going to react a couple of different ways. I wanted to see how it reacted to VWAP as it passed it. And it was used as support, which is great. And that's also why I got into this trade here. So this short run here, this was interesting because that was the first one where we broke above this high, or the open The opening print, we did trade above it, traded back down, and then we were supported by VWAP. So I'm thinking that's pretty good. I'm looking for a bullish entry. Entered a little late again. I probably could have entered at the beginning of this candle or at the end of this candle. Had decent stop and risk to reward here, so I was pretty happy about that. But again, exited early. I did see another slowdown again. I'm getting pretty close to a payout here, so I am a scalper at heart. So even these trades that last me 10 to 15 minutes, you know, sometimes if I see a slowdown, sometimes I'm not willing to risk it. I'm just going to take the profit that I'm in at that moment. And I just really don't want to risk any like trailing drawdowns or anything like that, especially when I'm so close to a payout. So these first two trades really weren't too bad. I wasn't too upset about them. What really upset me and where things started to get really bad was in the later part of the day, where I just started trading really, I don't know, I think at this point I was up like only $250. And I just, it was kind of disappointing, you know, making decisions. We kind of consolidated for the better part of lunch, basically starting at like 12. We just consolidated pretty much till like 1:30. And I didn't make my next trade until about 2 o'clock. In this next trade, I didn't have a lot of confirmation, but what I did have was we did have a big, this is a 5-minute order block here. Let me make sure that's the case. Yeah, this is a 5-minute order block here. This is what I had marked after this trade. I wanted to see how this 5-minute order block was going to play out, and it turned out pretty decent. Again, I didn't make a play off of it, which is my own fault. But the play that I did make was big play out of that 5-minute order block. And then again, we took we took the liquidity up through here. We did make a new high. We did not make a new low. I mean, in relative equal lows here. So again, I'm thinking, hey, that's looking good. I'm going to look for an opportunity. So I took this 1-minute order block. We traded down into this 1-minute order block. And my original thought was we had this green candle here. I figured this would be tricking people to get into a long position, and then the next down candle here took the liquidity and brought us into this 1-minute order block. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is a great opportunity for me to go long. And I kept my risk pretty short. I kept my risk about $70, $75 here. Ended up getting stopped out pretty quick. That ended up not being the bottom. That was kind of I guess the bottom situation here. But again, low risk, pretty high reward if it did play out. So I was okay with that, considering I was up for the day. I could take small calculated risks like that. The next trade, it did find support here, right? Again, here's a higher low. So that is still bullish. This is a higher high, a higher low, and I'm looking for opportunities. I don't really see anything. This is kind of almost consolidation in my book, so I didn't really see anything that was like fitting for me necessarily. But this picked up in volume, which is what I really liked. Again, I'm a scalper at heart, so when I see volatility and volume kick into the market, I do take that a little bit. I got about $100 to $150 back here, so again, kind of an interesting little scalp. Really technically not fantastic. I was just going with the trend, and I just saw increased volatility and volume in the market, so I just hopped in. And then I want to say it was after this where things started to get pretty bad. This one didn't bother me. This is a $75 loss, but up here I had this little thing. I accidentally clicked on on my position, and I was pretty upset about that. I got out pretty quickly just because I almost spooked myself, but I need to not have my finger over the buy and sell button. I think that would be something that I could learn if I actually, paid attention. And then after that, it was just kind of a mess. And I need to kind of pull up this, which is my Ninja Trader. But this was my trade from the $70 trade here that I got stopped out on. So we can ignore that. But I want to focus on these. This was that scalp that I took, or excuse me, this was the accidental trade that I got into here. I did end up winning, which is, I guess that's fortunate, but this is where things got really messy. I was in these positions and it wasn't smart. These are not, I was just taking things. I really wanted that 15,600 to play out. So I was expecting, I kept taking these long entries, and the market just didn't want to keep going up. Here we ran into the resistance that we never really recovered from the rest of the day. So I ended up getting stopped out here for a loss. And then I took another trade down here, which was silly. This was a short trade, which again, this is where things got really bad, right? So I'm longing up here and I'm shorting down here right as the market's about to like finish and stabilize. So really just not good decisions. I was up bigger than what, the 360, 375 than I was today. I was up maybe 600, about 600, and I gave back about $200, $300, and really just off of preventable mistakes. I think at the end of the day, if I just stopped over trading, I think the over trading kind of stemmed from not revenge trading, because I was up and I did finish the day green, like I said, but definitely just having this need to be right. And just the whole day I was like, I was planning on hitting, this is 15.6 right here. So right where my cursor is, 15.6. That was my goal all day today, and I was calling it out, and I was like, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I think that's what got me into this over trading cycle, because it was like, I know it's gonna happen, and so I'm hoping that one of these, I can keep my risk tight, and I can like let it run when the market takes off. So I was almost just waiting for it to just take off here, take off here, take off here, and it was just bad. And I think at the end of the day, it really set me into a bad state where I just gave back money, and I shouldn't have. And at this point, I'm trading funded accounts now, paid accounts, and I can't really be making these mistakes. So again, recognize them and keep myself accountable by putting myself out there for the world to see. And you know, that's the beauty of trading, I guess, is you learn a lot about yourself. So but that's all I have today. Again, it was pretty strange day. It was a green day, but it was not my favorite day. So if you guys can learn anything from this, that's amazing. If you guys have still been watching this, thank you so much. And if it's providing value to anybody to learn from my mistakes here, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. That's all I have for you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.